Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 50th edition of Cinema Effect. That is a sentence I said right there. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by Disney's number one hater, Jaden.
Good day.
You know, there was that guy in the Instagram comments over the last couple of days, and we appreciate him commenting. I checked out his podcast a little bit, and great stuff over there. I forgot his name. I feel really bad. He's great. But the takeaway is the fact that he, from what I could tell and from his comments, you know, he's very much Disney's number one fanboy. He's all in on the Disney hype train. I don't know if you've seen this guy.
Is this
he's great. Comment. Yeah, he's great. But my point is, we got Disney's number one hater here. We got Disney's number one fanboy also now connected to the show some way. Is this a showdown
like
at the same place?
Yeah.
Yeah, yin and yang right there, man. That's what it is.
We'll invite him onto the podcast for an episode and we'll duke it out.
Sure. I guess it'd be 2v2, wouldn't it? Because I'd probably side with him, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Liam would more likely side with him as well, so I'll just take you all on.
Sure, okay, that's cool. 3-on-1. That's neat. But also, I've got John Cena III, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Hello,
everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect. It's a podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, everywhere where professional podcasts are found, because that's what we are, right? Please subscribe and all those things. If you enjoy the show, follow the Instagram page. We're putting effort into the content on the Instagram. Not that we didn't, but there's more output. There's tons more output, so go and check it out. Fitzy's doing great with the reminders. I've started doing the clips, which is, maybe people enjoy them, hopefully. Hopefully you like them. So go and check those out. Let us know what you think. And remember, you can always submit your questions, thoughts, reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comments section, or send us a DM on Instagram. If you can get it to us, send it to us and we'll read it. But our specific question of the show today is going to be something interesting. We're looking for your highlights of the week. Every single week we chat shit about what we've been watching and we tell you what we liked and didn't like about what we've been doing this week. We want to hear what you've been watching. Give us your highlight of the week and submit it to us and we'll read them out. I want to hear what you've been watching. So please do that. We'll read that out at the end of next week's show. This week we're reviewing Black Swan, which opened in the US on the 17th of December 2010. It was directed by Darren Aronofsky. It is a drama, and the synopsis reads, a committed dancer struggles to maintain her sanity after winning the lead role in a production of
Tchaikovsky.
Holy shit, it's that easy? Tchaikovsky? Well, I can actually see that now. Now that you say it, I can see Tchaikovsky right there. That always happens with me, as you know. Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake.
Dude, you really added like 7 extra syllables and like 80 different sounds.
Yeah. I mean, that was almost impressive on my part. But it's a long word, and it's elusively long in that way. So Swan Lake is a real thing. Okay. I didn't know that. I'm the only one that hasn't seen Black Swan. That's why I picked it for the poll. Shout out to my victory right there. That was sick. Anyway, what did you guys think of Black Swan, Fitzy? Having rewatched it.
It's great. Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis are great, and it's just like really, it's really thrilling and intense. I mean, Aronofsky's movies are really intense, but this movie like really fits its like subject matter with this intensity. I thought it put it off really well. Made this kind of obsession seem really, suspenseful and like tangible. So yeah, it's really great.
Cool, man. Jaden?
Yeah, it's I echo many of Liam's feelings, probably a bit to a greater extent though. I really do love this film from opening to closing. I think everything's great, and especially like I love the way that Aronofsky uses the camera, like how tight he fixes it to like his actors, and he tracks them a bit. Like he did the same thing with like in Mother, as like Jennifer Lawrence is like walking around the house, and like you see it with Natalie Portman in this film, that she's excellent. Like, sorry, I'm going on a tangent when I should be talking about my summary.
No, you're totally right.
But yeah, I really love this film so much. The music, the colors. I mean, the lack of color really, and like performance. Yeah, it's great.
I'm so sorry to do this, guys.
Yeah,
This
no,
is
I
another.
knew it.
This is another. I'm thinking of ending things. I think I didn't really like the movie that much. I didn't think it was garbage. I thought it was obnoxiously weird. And I'm down for weird. You know what I mean? I'm cool for abstract and artsy. I mean, maybe my track record
No,
actually
yeah.
contradicts that. In theory, I'm here for it, but it's like also kind of want my story to be satisfying and interesting and not cringe. And it's I don't know. It's like I felt like the movie was trying to troll me in the worst way, like with all these weird moments and weird scenes and awkward moments that we'll get into, I'm sure. But I don't know. It didn't come together as a memorable experience for me, really.
I really thought you'd like it. I don't know.
Okay.
Because kind of like Whiplash kind of thing. I thought that you'd be into it.
There are definitely parallels to Whiplash. There are definitely. I mean, I actually wrote right here. There are parallels to when we watched Nocturne last year. It was sort of like at the time we were talking about, this has sort of got parallels to Black Swan and Whiplash, and I was like, as we know, I didn't love Nocturne, but I like Nocturne more than this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I do, and I'm sort of surprised because like this movie's really well regarded. It's not like something that quote unquote cinephiles. I don't like sorting people into these arbitrary groups, but like quote unquote cinephiles like, and then like the public thinks it's weird or whatever. Like the public really likes this movie. You know what I mean? So that's why I thought I would, even though I didn't really know anything about it other than Natalie Portman dancing. But yeah, it didn't win me over, unfortunately.
Well, it's mine and Liam's jobs to convince you otherwise throughout this discussion.
Please do genuinely, because I do think I might not understand the movie. It's like I don't know if it's maybe I'm totally wrong, but I don't know if it's as hard to understand as Mother. Not that Mother's super easy to understand once you get it, but it's like
I think it's the same case here.
Okay,
or a similar case, maybe a bit like tad bit hard. But.
Okay, well then. Dude, I was gonna dive into some of the things I did like and build off what you were saying, Jan. But we have to do it now. I need the entire rest of the discussion for me to understand. You know what I mean? So, building off that, right? Mother is this weird. I liked Mother a lot because I found it engrossing and intense.
I think it's best we don't spoil what it's about, though.
What Mother's about?
Yeah,
that's a good idea. I was actually about to do that, but I don't know. Yeah, I totally shouldn't. You're right.
I mean, I still don't know what Mother's about.
I'm sorry. I was actually about to do that totally ignorantly. What is Black Swan about? Because the main thing I took away from it is just Natalie Portman. Because it's weird, okay? There's so much weird shit in this movie if you haven't seen it. There's constant illusions. Like she's tripping out all the time. She's seeing things. She grows wings at one point, but she doesn't really. She kills, full spoilers obviously. She kills Mila Kunis, but she doesn't. Just like constant trippy shit going on here. You know what I mean? So through all that, I found it all weird, but through it, I sort of just took Natalie Portman's Nina's main character arc of her sort of just growing into this assertive, confident performer. That's sort of what I took away from it. And then her desire this entire time to become that, to deliver the perfect performance. And at the end, she achieves that. That's sort of what I took away from it. And as a story, that sounds solid. I'm cool with that story. But I think by looking at your face, Jane, I'm missing something, aren't I?
Oh no, I was laughing. Yeah.
And what?
You can't say you said arc, so you put in the chat.
I'm sorry, but did you add a counter to the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm so sorry. I'm probably going to say it a few more times too.
Oh wait, hold on. How many times did you just say it then? Oh shit.
Oh, I said it a couple times, yeah. Oh, if you're counting me.
Yeah. No, we're counting
everyone. Overall, yeah. I'll chuck it on 3 just for safety.
For the audience, because this is a huge part of our lore, but the audience doesn't understand this lore yet. We have in our software a group chat that is happening as we're talking, and Jaden is keeping count of the amount of times we say the word arc, which is amazing. So we'll keep you updated on that counter. Am I on the right track with Black Swan, Jaden?
No, you've pretty much nailed it. I mean,
okay,
yeah, that's that is essentially what this movie is about, because it's this kind of awesome amalgamation of like two Russian classics in like The Double by Dostoevsky and obviously Swan Lake by Tchaikovsky. So, and it's kind of so like, you know, I think Aronofsky saw The Double, and I think this other dude like wrote the script for this, and then they kind of combined it into what Black Swan is. And I think through that is you know, I think I think what you've derived from it is pretty much correct as far as I'm aware as well.
Okay. Does that sound good by you, Fitzy? Are there any preconceived notions we all need to iron out before we go further?
I mean, like, it's definitely about that, but I think it's also about like embracing your dark side and like putting like combining that with, you know, because the whole thing in the movie, she's like too controlling, she's too perfect to be able to achieve this kind of like artistic expression of like the Black Swan, which is more free and, you know, impulsive or whatever. So I think it's about like, you know, that as well. It's about losing control and having like, it's about balance, I guess, like having that other side, because at the start she's very innocent and she's like
childlike.
Yeah, she's very childlike, and she says sorry all the time. She can't really do anything for herself. She's controlled by her mother, and she progressively becomes more in control of herself. But because she's always had this like innocent, you know, like inner life and psychology, she like when she tries to embrace this dark side, it's just like too much because it's all like pent up inside of her. So, you know, that's the whole thing with the ending, like killing, you're going crazy and everything, and like, yeah, how she kills but doesn't kill Mila Kunis, and I don't know, I think that's kind of what it's going for. It's also just like the intensity of, you know, this role gets to her as well, and yeah, it's about all those things.
The duality of man. That was my input there. Okay, no, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I like all those ideas, you know, and I do like the mother character a lot, and their like sort of awkward relationship in a good way though.
I mean, it's not a good relationship.
Really controlling. No, it's definitely not. No. Yeah. But I thought it was a cool relationship because I don't think it's that dynamic of like a grown up childlike daughter controlled by a mother, especially when the daughter's in this sort of line of work, I guess.
Haven't you seen Dance Moms?
She does what she does. Definitely not. What?
No?
Is that?
Dude, I thought
Dance Moms?
Yeah, I thought you loved like reality TV and shit. You'd love that. You'd eat that shit up.
Oh, no. I know. Sorry, I know. I was thinking of films. I know of that show. But I haven't seen a lot of it though. Yeah. But that's literally what that is, though, right? All these controlling mothers. Genuinely though, it's not something you see a lot of in films. So I kind of like that dynamic as an idea to implement into a story like this. I don't know where it sort of falls apart for me. I'm glad that I understood at least some of it, and it wasn't like something of like, oh, Zach, it was actually like, I don't know, it was actually some sort of political commentary you didn't understand. Like that would have been something. But like she gets webbed feet, everyone. You know what I mean? She starts seeing things. She kills Mila Kunis, as I've said, but doesn't kill Mila Kunis. And every time this happened, I just felt like the movie was trolling me, like in not an interesting way. Like I was just like when she killed Mila Kunis, I was like, oh, that's cool. And she but the movie does this multiple times where I'm like, oh, there's this cool narrative beat that does make sense of like embracing that dark side and, you know, sort of seeing herself, and she, you know, all the stuff of seeing herself is cool. But then when it's like, oh, but she didn't really do it. Oh, it's like, okay. You know? Okay. And it's like, and it's the same thing when she like slept with her. But she didn't really. It's like, oh, okay. It just kept happening over and over again to where I don't really understand, other than the psychological, which I guess is the idea. But other than the psychological, I don't really understand what she has done to transform herself. And the execution of these weird moments for me I was just sort of left, like, sometimes I laughed because I thought it was awful. Sometimes I thought it was just weird and awkward. Like, the scene when she's masturbating and her mum's in the room, and then it, like, does the, you know, she, like, turns around, her mum's there, and it's like, bah, bah, bah. You know, when it does that? It was, I thought it was terrible. But, and it does, anyway. And then, so it's these weird, awkward moments like that, and the whole thing of when I'm going very specific to try and articulate why I thought the movie was awkward, but I want to shut up in a second. But the other main example was when she was, like when all the lights, she's practicing by herself and all the lights go out and like the monster
the painting
starts stalking her in the dark.
Yeah.
Is that what that was?
Right. Oh, yeah. Because then she like
You know what
turned
I'm
them.
talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought it was really. And I'm sorry because I see the lovely vinyl right there, but I thought the score was really cliche and dramatic in that moment. I liked it in other moments. I liked it in more quieter, like dance moments and stuff. But like, in that moment, I'm just like, dude, like this is like. I feel like I would hear this and see this because I thought the costume design for the monster was terrible. But like I could see this in like a D grade horror movie.
It's the ballet though, like that. It's like practical effects.
It is actually.
If it's for the dance to be able to still, it's to convey an idea more than it is to look cool. It's about exacerbating a feeling or an emotion or something like that.
Okay, that makes sense because then that actually is in the. That costume's actually used then in the final performance, right? It's actually literally the.
Yeah, it's like that design is intentionally like that. It's just so they can, because it's not like film. You have people back in the nosebleeds that need to be able to see. So it's about really emphasizing the core of it, and to do that is by making this beaked monster type thing.
Okay. All right. Well, no, that makes sense with the costume stuff. But I think. A solid comparison for me with the implementation of these sort of, abstract elements, these interesting, weird, like tripping out moments, is a movie like Birdman.
I got a lot of Birdman vibes this time around too.
Yeah, no, I did too. And I think Birdman is able to execute those moments in a more believable way. I don't know if it's maybe because the film sort of feels like it builds to those moments. Because Birdman sort of appears, but then it gets really abstract, like in the third act, Maybe it's that. So I don't know. I felt like in terms of executing like abstract shit that's like really bizarre, like these weird costumes and monsters and shit, like Birdman was weird, no doubt, but it felt more grounded in its universe as opposed to taking me out of the movie of
far more
feeling bizarre. Yeah. And to put a cap on this point, because I do want to move on, this just perfectly, I think, is how I felt, right? In the trivia I found, although the film was never marketed as such, Darren Aronofsky has always maintained that the film was meant to be a psychological horror film. And at this, I think he totally failed for me. Like, I just didn't get that whatsoever. As like a
Seriously?
cool... Yeah. As like a... If I can take it as, take the weird moments aside I don't like, if I can take it as this sort of abstract, artsy character arc, character study, that's fine. But I didn't feel intense in any moment. Didn't feel like parallel to Mother because I know he can deliver that. So it's not like he's not capable. But yeah, I didn't get it at all. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to get at the heart of why I didn't like it. If that's okay, guys. Drive something into your heart like she did at the end. She kills herself. She dies. That's what happens. Cool ending though. That was the perfect performance.
Yeah. I thought the dance scenes are really great as well. The actual scene where she transforms is just awesome.
Yeah, I don't know why you thought that was crazy, Zach.
The wings come out, it's just amazing. Well, did you not like that scene?
No, he said the wing transformation was one of the weird parts, but I think that was like one of the best things in the movie.
Yeah.
At the final performance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was cool.
I swear you just said that it was weird.
I mean, it was weird. I didn't love it, but I thought it was fine. I didn't think that was a bad moment. Okay. I didn't think that was one of my terrible cringe moments or anything. But
I just I found that kind of thing really, her transformation really satisfying because at the start she is really innocent and passive, and you kind of want to see her, be more individual and push back a bit, and then you see this awesome, performance with the wings transforming and the devil or whatever that character is, the big, black costumed character. And it's just really cool to see that transformation happen in the end. But it's also really, you can see the effect it has on her, so it's kind of sad as well. And the score is great. I think the score is great, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm shocked that you didn't like it. I love the way that Mansell's kind of...
I was mixed on it overall.
Combined, Do you not like the traditional like Swan Lake parts, or do you not like the contemporary parts?
The contemporary parts I don't like. Yeah, no, the Swan Lake parts are cool.
Okay.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was bad overall. I thought it was bad in moments. Like, yeah, every time it tries to be horror, I think it's bad. But no, thank you for bringing up the dancing, because I don't want to get lost. That is like literally, it's a movie about ballerinas, people, all right? So it's like one of the biggest components here. And I know Natalie Portman met her future husband, who was the choreographer for this movie, and he did a great job.
It was also
the dancing's very cool.
Her partner in the like the dance partner in the film.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He was too. Yeah. It's very impressive. And speaking of that, all right, Darren Aronofsky said in a radio interview that Natalie Portman not only trained for a year as a dancer to prepare for the role, but paid for the training out of her own pocket until the film found investors. Aronofsky attributed the film's getting the film getting made at all to Portman's dedication and enthusiasm. You know what I mean? It's very cool. It's very cool. I appreciate when, and you hear these stories a lot. In the trivia, Mila Kunis had a very similar story, trained forever as well. So when you actors are cool, man. You know, they're dedicated to their craft. Okay, and you know, sometimes it's easy to go, oh, they get paid like millions of dollars for 3 weeks' work, whatever, and that happens for sure. When it's like, when you hear that, like years ago, there was that story about Julia Roberts appeared in a movie for 2 minutes and got $5 million. But if every one of those, there's also like, look at how much friggin' ridiculous amount of over the top effort they put into their role. So it's very, very impressive. Natalie Portman did win Best Actress, right, for this, I think?
Yeah. It was the only Oscar the movie won. Surprisingly.
It would have been nominated for Best Picture, I imagine.
Yeah. And screenplay.
Yeah.
No, not screenplay, sorry. No writing categories, but it did have Best Picture. Okay.
Natalie Portman's obviously really good in the movie. It's pretty hard to deny. It's not a performance that captured my imagination personally, but she totally deserves like the credit for all the effort she put in, and you can see it on screen. That one scene when she's getting like therapy or whatever, you know, when they were like, it was a very quick scene when they're like holding her ribs or something, and she's like getting like a health checkup.
Yeah.
That was like a genuine health checkup she was getting, and they were just filming it, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. We haven't mentioned Vincent Cassel yet. He's really
nice, so good. I love him.
Yeah. He creeps me out in a great way.
I love, like, you know, a lot about, you know, Portman's character, about Nina, was trying to convey her as childlike as possible. And I think a great way that, I don't know if it was intentional in his casting, but like Cassel is so much bigger than her, you know. It's like every time we see, like, you know, her, like, whenever we see him like hold her face, or we just see her behind him, it really dwarfs him, and it makes her seem that much more childlike. I think it's great.
Yeah,
man.
And he's like he's kind of that. He's like, when he explains the story of Swan Lake, like the character that is like he's like not the prince character, but the other character, you know, that like pulls her in from to the dark side or whatever. There was something like that.
Yeah,
he's like that. He's like the demon character kind of thing.
I love him in Westworld too. He's great. Don't see him in enough.
Wait, what? Who's he in Westworld?
He's season 3's villain, Sirach.
Oh shit! Right, yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah. That's the only reason I knew him. That's like Westworld guy for me. But yeah, he was really he creeped me out. Like the way he kept advancing on her, like, it creeped me out in a good way though, because it totally, you know, the whole thing that he's getting at is that he's trying to bring out a dark side or whatever, which is what happened. Which worked. Yeah, it was cool. Shout out to Mila Kunis too, as we're going on actors. I thought she was solid.
She's like perfect for that bad girl, you know, kind of role.
Yeah,
she's really great.
This is probably the best performance I've ever seen, because I've seen her in, you know, seen her in rom-coms or whatever. Saying, okay, cool. Not that there isn't an art to that. I respect the art to that too, but it's just like, okay, yeah, it is what it is. And the only real dramatic role, if memory serves, I've seen her in is in The Book of Eli.
Wait, is she?
And I thought a character, she is, and I thought a character was terrible in it. So that sort of like affected my view of just her in the movie. You know what I mean? She's probably fine in the movie. It's just like, I thought that character was weird. So seeing her in this style, at first when she popped up, I'm like, oh no. No offense to her, but I was like, this is sort of my expectation for her in dramatic roles. It's like, she's in the most like dramatic movie ever. And I'm like, oh no. But no, she was really good. I was impressed. So now my expectations have realigned. If she pops up in something else, I'm like, okay, it's fine now. You mentioned the camera work, Jaden.
I do, yeah.
It's the main thing I took away from it too.
Yeah, I love from the opening, like that first shot of like Nina dancing and like kind of like it comes into it really fast and then it just stays fixed as she moves around and like it's such a like I haven't seen enough of Aronofsky's films. I'm not sure if I can call it a trademark, but like having because I think I watched Mother first, so then going from Mother to Black Swan, I was immediately able to identify that as one of his factors, and I really love the way he employs it because it does so much to build tension and anxiety in a way, I guess, as well. But it's just like it demands a lot from the actors as well, and staying so close to them for so long, and like yeah, I just love it.
Totally. I noticed it particularly in that first act, I guess. Yeah. When she's walking in and out of places, and definitely during all the dance stuff, he's so tight on the face all the time, and it's always really quite shaky too. It's giving me anxiety, anxiety that for me wasn't founded, but give me anxiety in the moment nonetheless. And you totally see it in Mother too. Mother is if I think of Mother, if I try and visualize it, I just picture basically what is tons of the movie, which is just Jennifer Lawrence close up as we just walk around a house, but like always the camera's moving backwards, and that like kind of like that as a camera motion is sort of inherently sort of like thrilling, and scary. It's really cool. I haven't really seen it for a lot of people.
I love the way like the camera seems to kind of mirror the actors' movement. It kind of seems to stumble a bit when they're doing it. It glides better when they do it. It's I don't know. It's I just really love it so much. I think it's like one of the best uses of camera outside just making pretty pictures. I feel like that I've seen.
Yeah, and and to do justice to that, like I mentioned that the camera shakes. Like that does not do justice to exactly what you're saying. You feel like the camera's like I don't even know how they achieve that. It's pretty impressive. Like the camera feels like it's like moving as they take steps, like proportionately effectively.
Yeah.
It's like you're sort of in their headspace. It's crazy.
Dude, I watched like 2 hours worth of behind the scenes and I still don't know how they did it. One thing that watching those the behind the scenes that made me appreciate it and really take into consideration when watching the film was like how much digital effects I have. Because I thought a lot of it was just like practical or like makeup and stuff. But like, every time we see like the way they animate the goosebumps on like a skin and like the way that like there was way more digital effects than I thought, and like seeing like the breakdown of like that wings transformation especially is like something that was like took them ages and like where they had to do like so much work to like actually like allow it to happen. Like it was a factor that I didn't realize was so significant to the film until watching that, and it's quite good.
And I respect it, especially since a main takeaway I got from reading up on the film afterwards was that how tight the budget was. And it was just like every single thing they wanted to do was so tight on the day, and Natalie Portman had to give up her trailer. Because I think someone
to get like a physio on screen or on set or whatever it was.
Yeah. Someone was hurt or something. They needed like medical assistance.
She like dislocated a rib or some shit like that. I don't know. He was like, "Yeah, we can get a medic on set, but you'd have to give up your trailer."
It's cool to hear that though. It's what's the word? It's something film. It's like what am I trying to say? It's like no, but it's like something filmmaking. It's like
guerrilla filmmaking.
You're under guerrilla filmmaking. That's exactly what I was thinking. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. But it's like guerrilla filmmaking with like it's a Hollywood movie, but it's still got that element to it because it's tight money wise,
Well, I couldn't believe how tight the shooting schedule was as well, because like this was shot in 42 days, which was very shocking to me. I mean, it seems like such a complex film, especially with all the dance sequences and shit. I thought it'd be, a few months worth, and like, shooting in New York and around that, and like, like getting the apartment and like getting everything right in there. I thought this would be a massive shoot, but it was like, just a bit over a month, and I was really surprised by that.
So was I. We do this a lot. I guess just the training prior was really helped them. I guess they figured out all their choreography and stuff.
Yeah.
But still, they're still shot so intricately though.
Yeah. And like
it's not like just do your choreography and we'll film it. Like
no, it seemed like I think obviously they were aware of how constrained they would be with everything. So I think like it was very carefully mapped out for them to be able to do everything, not necessarily in the first go, but as quick as they could and stuff. So like the plans that Aronofsky gave to like the set decorator and shit, like was like, you know, she was asked like, you know, when do I have to do this by, and like, you know, she was told that everything has to be done at once so they can all be like, you know, there and stuff. It's like it was all very like well planned out before the shooting even started. So like that's how they managed it, I guess. But like, it's still pretty cool feat.
That seems to be the moral of the story of it. I mean, I always like talking about this whenever it comes up of tight shooting schedules, just how well you plan. So I guess we're like giving advice to young filmmakers here as we're clearly expert filmmakers ourselves, you know?
I mean, it's something that I didn't do when I was doing, you know, fucking media, you know.
Well, how long did that film take you to shoot, Jaden?
Oh, it only took me like, you know, 3 days, but it should have taken like fucking 2 hours.
There you go. You got a play. You got a storyboard and all that.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite part.
Shot listing and stuff. And
yeah, shot listing. Yeah.
Don't let actors improvise because that just adds time to the shoot.
That's right. Don't allow creative freedom.
Yeah, no.
Is there anything to say about Winona Ryder in this movie, Beth? Because one of the big elements, of course, we touched on it briefly, but for me and, you know, for anyone watching, is trying to, as the story's playing out, we're introduced to the whole black swan, white swan, love, the different people involved in that story that, well, I don't know, what would you call it, like a parable or whatever, at the very start of the movie. So you sort of spend the movie trying to place like who is playing what role here to thus determine how the movie ends. And it doesn't really go that way. It's not really black or white in that sense. But I was sort of thinking, is Beth someone in this? You know, is Beth the white swan? I guess there's multiple answers, because like, is Beth the white swan because she was screwed out of Vincent in favor of, you know, like, and Natalie Portman in that way is the black swan. But of course, Natalie Portman, the star, definitely is not the black swan. She's the white swan. So I guess there's cool different ways to interpret this.
No, I mean, Natalie Portman's a swan queen. I mean, it's not a two-role thing. I mean, like, it is. I don't think you can give Winona Ryder the credit for white swan. I think Portman gets. Actually, no.
Could evolve, don't you think?
Like,
yeah. You know what I mean? Like, by the end, for sure, but like, I guess in that sense, you know. But yeah, I guess it doesn't really strictly follow like the rules that it establishes at the start by any means. So I'm just trying to think. I feel like that role is significant. That Beth character, in some way, she doesn't get a lot of screen time.
Well, like, ballet is, like, they talk about in the movie, like, at a certain age in ballet, like, a lot of people aren't able to do it anymore. And so, I guess she's just kind of that idea of, like, you know, not being able to perform anymore and, like, what's the character's name?
Beth, is that who you're after? Or Nina?
No, it was Nina, sorry. I was going to say Portman, but I was like, I better just say. Yeah, but Nina's like, I guess that's part of her, like, anxiety. Like, she needs to perform really well this one time because it's her one big chance, you know?
Yeah.
Also, they talk about how Vincent's character talks about how Beth is, like, consumed by, you know, her impulse and everything. So I think she's more like, she'd be more of a black swan, like Mila Kunis type, you know, character. So I guess it's just the idea of, like, she has this one chance, you know, and otherwise she won't be able to do it anymore.
Well, that makes sense for the ending too. To deliver that, it's sort of another element to the perfect performance, I guess, the perfect display of her art, in the sense of, by killing herself, she never is subjected to that fate of being discarded eventually, or being a has-been or whatever. She gave a 10 out of 10 performance, and then that's it for her. You know, that's all you get.
Yeah, and, like, Beth's legs, you know, that kind of plays into how her legs are, like, ruined because of the car crash, you know. Like, that was...
Oh, yeah.
And Beth had her, like, retiring performance, you know, and then she jumped in front of a truck or a car or whatever.
No, she never... She was meant to give a retiring performance later in the season, but then she jumped in front of the car that night and kind of ended it all there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
You mentioning legs. Wasn't there that one scene where Natalie Portman's legs got, like, twisted or some shit?
Oh, yeah, like they turned into, like, the goose legs.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember. That was like towards the end, wasn't it?
I think,
Yeah,
it was when like
it's the
her
night
sort
before.
of like delusions were kind of taking hold a bit more.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That was done practically, but just with like a model instead. Say that one.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I love just the way you started that. That was done practically.
They made like the lower half of like body, I think, and then they just like shot it out of frame or like what? Because I think it was like with shadows that you see it happen, don't you?
Yeah.
Or do you see the
Well,
actual?
you see it actually a bit.
Oh, you see?
I think.
Okay, yeah. I think they just like made like the cast of like a lower body, and then like they just like did some shit off camera to like make it work.
They didn't actually snap.
Yeah, they
Natalie
didn't actually
Portman's
like just
legs
fucking
in
like,
half.
get a hammer and just like.
Oh my god! But hey, at least he didn't call her Padme earlier. Fitzy, that would have been.
I was going to make a joke about Keira Knightley and like woman thing. I was like, it doesn't really play anymore.
I think there was an opportunity there. Yeah, we didn't really give him the chance to take it.
Yeah.
He could still do it if he wants.
But I don't really think of her as Padme. I don't have that association, I guess.
Good for her, man. I mean, I know she had the whole thing of. She talked about it before of like after Star Wars, like she couldn't get work for a while.
No, really?
Which is unfortunate. But thankfully, she's had a huge redemption, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, she's one of the best actresses out there, I think.
You've seen her in Heat?
Oh, yeah, she's pretty good.
Thor, obviously.
Oh, yeah, understand that. Yeah. But Taika's gonna nail her, you know what I mean? She's
what's he gonna do?
I'm so sorry to everyone. Everyone listening has said that. Taika does justice to his characters, is what I'm saying, and that's what I mean. Let's move on. Let's not. Yeah. I don't know, man. We've covered all the characters, I think, haven't we?
You could probably talk about the mother, but I mean, like, I don't think there's too much more to say about her, really.
Oh,
she's trash. When she went to throw out the cake, that was the most emotionally invested I was in the entire movie. I was like, don't throw out the goddamn cake, please. And thank God she did. It was okay.
One of the reasons she's so hard on Nina is like she blames her because, you know, she had her when she was like in her 20s or whatever, and then like ruined her career or like, you know, damaged her career as a. I mean, it ended her career as a, you know, a dancer. So she's like really hard on her, and that's why Nina's like she's so like, you know, controlled, and like everything she does is like artificial, as old mate Gassel says.
It's also just living her dreams through her as well, you know.
Yeah,
that, you know.
Yeah, she wants to like be what she wasn't able to be because she had.
I really like the I mentioned it really at the start, but I really love the set decoration and like, especially the final stage that they create, because I remember like a while ago watching I think it was on Netflix. I think it was called like The Art of Design. It was just a docu-series about like kind of examine like different prolific people in like certain like areas of design, and like one of them was a stage designer, and like she was a really contemporary and modern one. And she talked about breaking down ideas and then representing them in their most basic forms, and you know like you know just by like power and elevation, like how they do that and shit like that. It's like then like seeing how they do that in this film, because they do a similar thing where like, you know, it was about breaking down Black Swan and then, you know, doing this really contemporary, you know, adaptation of it, and then like the way that that's affected the stage. So that final like mountain type of design and like the way that the stage is dressed in that final scene, I think is really epic, as well as the set design throughout the rest of the film. You know, like how harsh it is, apart from like Nina's room is like the only warmth, but it's a, you know, it's a child's room. It's a warmth, but it's not like necessarily a good warmth, I guess, for that character.
It's like a rigid warmth, which is I've just made up, because it feels like with all the toys and plushies and pink, it feels a bit.
It's too like informed, like her, you know. It's it's too in place.
Yeah, it feels unnaturally like perfect, even though it's like the warmest color wise and everything.
Yeah. I think the set design is really great in this movie.
Sick, guys. What are our final verdicts for Black Swan, Jaden?
It used to be a 9, but I think I don't know. I'm really torn on the 8 and a 9 because I want to give it. I want to retain that 9, but I don't think it had the same connection for me this time. So yeah, I think it's an 8.
I often think about like I rate movies just based on the viewing experience, not the movie itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That way, it's like there's no like objective rating of the movie. It's just like First time was a 9, next time it's an 8, next time it might be a 10, whatever.
Yeah, that's how it very much is, and like that's like we talk about like the feelings that elevated to a 9 and 10. I think like this time it's just that feeling wasn't there to get it to that.
Yeah.
What was that, like fucking 7 years in a row for both of us?
You know that? Oh my! I'm so sorry to do this. There's that scene in the episode 1 documentary where George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are talking to each other, and they do a like tennis match like 7 times. It's hilarious. It's terrific. It's like George is like, "Oh, the movie's going to be great," and Steven's like, "It's going to be great," and George's like, "It's going to be great." Yeah. It's hilarious. Anyway, Fitzy.
Yeah, well, I'm also going to give it an 8. Yeah. Actually, I was going to say close to a 9, but I don't know. Just an 8, so.
8.73 maybe?
8.25, or like 8.43,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I bought as much time as possible to render a verdict on this.
What?
I don't know, man.
Wait, what did you just... Wait, hold on, what was that sentence?
I bought as much time as possible to render a verdict on this. Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What you hear?
I don't know. I think you said like
you do.
I'm vertical as much to render. I don't know.
I just started speaking like in code. I'll give it a 5. As often happens, because you guys are you're very convincing. You know, you've won me over a little bit with this conversation. I didn't like it that much. You know, I definitely we spent and I'm glad we did. We spent the last 80% of that conversation praising the movie, and I'm glad because it does deserve to be praised for the things that we talked about, all the cool stuff and things to be appreciated. But I just found its method of storytelling weird, in a bad way. It took me out of the movie often. Even talk about that weird scene when the old dude on the train was like touching his groin. Like, what was that?
Oh yeah,
you know.
It's probably the worst scene.
Bad.
It's just
I just sure, just like trying to paint the picture that way. Yeah, I guess. Oh no, like, there's enough moments like that for me to just be distracted and lack an investment, I think. So yeah, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Let's get into news chat. Let me tell you all about these Game of Thrones spin-offs that are happening, okay? So I found this lovely IGN article to break it down because I couldn't remember what. There's 3 extra spin-offs. We, of course, have House of the Dragon is coming sooner rather than later. It's the Targaryen thing. I think it's already filming or something. But 3 other spin-offs that are in development. I couldn't remember what they all are off the top of my head. So let me tell you about them. I know pretty much everyone's a Game of Thrones fan these days, so people will hopefully know what I'm talking about, right? The first project has the working title 10,000 Ships. It follows Princess Nymeria, an ancestor of House Martell and founder of the Kingdom of Dawn. The series is set a millennium before the events of Game of Thrones, marking an exploration of how much older mythos of a much... There's definitely a typo there. Of a much older mythos than the Westeros timeline.
Well, isn't the Targaryen one set in like a similar... I thought that was like a couple hundred years beforehand too.
Yeah, Targaryen is 200 years beforehand. It's... I mean, actually, now that you say that, it sort of does sound similar. It's the Targaryens conquering old Westeros. Oh no, wait, is it?
Is it?
Oh no, I think it's actually after they've already conquered it at that point. I think they're ruling the kingdom at that point. They're unifying the 7 kingdoms at that point. I think I'm out of touch on my Game of Thrones lore a little bit, but I think that's what that is. So then this would be, what's a millennium? Is that
100?
That's 100 years. Okay.
No, 1,000.
Or is it 1,000?
1,000. Sorry. No, it's 1,000. Yeah, I thought it was 100, and that's why in my head I was like, no, it's 1,000. Sorry.
Okay. So then this is the founding of Dawn. So this is before that, like significantly. So I love how they always go back in time for these things. Another project is set in Flea Bottom, the shady and labyrinthian slum district of King's Landing that was featured in the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones. We got that. We got a show in the suburb of King's Landing. Don't know what the hell we're doing there. I don't know what time period that
Modern
is either.
Family kind of thing.
Dude, that'd be awesome. I'd be down for that. I mean, genuinely though, right? It'd be pretty cool if they start exploring genres. Like, well, you know what we expect from a Game of Thrones thing, like a medieval, violent, hardcore drama. I can't really. That sounds weird in Flea Bottom, but I don't know, it's like a genre shift a little bit sounds cool.
Mm. You get, have you seen the King Arthur movie, like Guy Ritchie's one? Because it
No, I want to though.
kind of blends a bit of that comedy and action thing. I think that'd probably be an appropriate tone for that flip on one.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds neat. I want to watch that movie. I really do. It's probably not great.
No, I think you'll like it.
Okay. The final project is being developed by Rome creator Bruno Heller with the working title 9 Voyages. The series would follow Lord, Jesus Christ, Corlys Valerion. What is House Valerion? I've never heard of this house. What is this? All right, well, that's not helpful. He's also known as the Sea Snake and the head of House Valerion. Oh, Valerion. Do we know that?
Like Valeria? Like Valerian Steel?
9 Voyages. Yeah, so thank you. This is all coming back to me. Valyria is where the Targaryens were from. It's where the doom of Valyria occurred. So if it's the head of House, Valerion, so like Valyria or whatever, that makes sense. It might not be connected to Valyria at all. I would assume it is. So that makes it also set probably. I mean, the doom of Valyria happened 400 years before Game of Thrones, so we're going another X hundred years back again. It's important to note that these are, of course, just in development. That one spin-off that was in development with Naomi Watts was cancelled, so this could happen to any of these.
What? Wait, there was another one?
Yeah, the Naomi Watts one. Yeah, it was
So she's not going to be in one?
No, that was cancelled.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. They were developing 2. The Targaryen one, which we're getting, and the Naomi Watts one had a pilot that was shot. And from what we understand,
unreleasable.
Well, from what we understand, it was set in the north. It was focusing on the White Walker origins. I think that one. That's what we understood from it. It had a pilot. They didn't go forward with it. So.
Oh, I thought Naomi was part of that Targaryen one.
No, the Targaryen one's got what's his face though? Someone we know.
Got Olivia Cook.
Yeah, Olivia Cook. Yeah, that's who it is. Do any of those pique our interest? I mean, dude, I'm here for the Targaryen spin-off. I'm going to watch this probably if any of these happen. Because I'm a dork. But for me, if I picture what the perfect Game of Thrones spin-off is in my brain, the Targaryen one is it, and I'm getting it, and I'm happy. This is just cool. If this ever happens, I'll watch it. But the Targaryen one is really fulfilling what I want out of a prequel. Flea Bottom isn't getting your juices going.
My juices. I mean, we'll see if it gets cancelled in 6 months' time.
So I take it we're all just indifferent. We're all just whatever.
Yeah.
I was excited for I thought Naomi Watts would be in Targaryen, so I was excited for that because Naomi Watts is great. But even though I didn't really see her in that kind of role, but
is she?
Yeah, she's great, man. Funny Games, More Drive. I mean, what else has she been in? I don't know. What have you seen her in?
She hasn't got a great track record with me, But of course, it only just depends what you say. I saw her in Diana. Saw her in that Bill Murray comedy.
Oh, she's in Birdman.
Is she?
Yeah, I think she's the ex-wife or whatever, isn't she?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh no, she's not. She's the
she's Edward Norton's partner.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, if you're next to Edward Norton, I'm sorry, your scene's getting slightly stolen.
That's true.
In my opinion. I've gotten the sense of these 3 spin-offs. Sorry to go back to this, but are you guys interested in House of the Dragon, though? Because like I said, I'm here for that. Yeah. I don't really need anything else.
I mean, I'm there for Olivia Cook, so yeah.
That's a valid reason. That's a fine reason. She's in Sound of Metal, so yeah, she's good.
Oh, Matt Smith was going to be in it. That's nice.
Oh, he is too. That's also I think that's actually who I was thinking of before Olivia Cook I was reminded. Yeah, Matt Smith, yeah. To me, Targaryens are the obvious choice to me. I think there's the most to explore, the most interesting history. And you're still hanging out in King's Landing at that point, still recognizable locations. Some of these other spin-offs are I don't know, they'll be in random places we don't give a shit about.
I think the House of the Fish spin-off is going to be a good one.
House of the Fish. They're it's like Aquaman.
Yeah.
Atlantis or whatever.
What was that one about the sea snake? That's probably just going to be a Black Sails ripoff, let's be honest with you.
Oh my god, that would kill me. Yeah, it's titled 9 Voyages. Get some of the Black Sails actors in there, though. Give them work, please. We're somehow not done with this segment. We've got Avatar has beaten Avengers Endgame for the highest grossing film of all time. They're having a little futsal match, these two films, because of China. I think it was China that pushed them over the line both times. So, cool. We can no longer say Avengers Endgame is the most popular movie ever. Not that that title actually means anything to me. For those of you who don't know, this title means absolutely nothing because of inflation. So, like, if you can look up genuine ticket sales, and then they're like in the top 40 maybe. So every time this comes up, I don't understand how Avatar became the highest grossing movie of all time in the first place.
I think
I guess it was just marketed really well.
Yeah. It was really made to be a spectacle.
It was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Because I saw it in the theater when I was like 8, and that's like, it's like a mature movie for me at that time.
Mm.
And it was at the time, like, obviously I don't remember any ads or anything, but I remember going to see it. It was like this thing. It's like, dude, Avatar's the shit, you know? And but it's weird thinking back on it. Like, how did that happen?
I saw it like 2 or 3 times in the theater.
That's awesome, really?
But like, not because I was like too into it, it's because everyone wanted to see it. So I was like, oh, so my parents or my uncle, I was like...
It's nuts to me. It's a totally... Like, these days, you feel like new sci-fi IP sort of really struggle. And that one was just coming out swinging, you know what I mean? Big dick energy on Avatar.
I mean, with Karen behind the camera, I mean... Well, it was Cameron,
right?
Like
successful, right. Titanic probably would have contributed.
And I think Sam Worthington was a really like rising star at the time as well, and I think people were keen to see him keep going. And,
funny how that changed.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our highlights of the week. Jaden, what have you been watching?
I don't know. There's kind of a few things I'd like to talk.
You got to choose. You got to narrow it down. Unfortunately,
I've been rewatching Luther. I think I've spoken about Luther before, just like in terms of like when we're talking about like TV. But like, Luther's so fucking good. Like, it's genuinely so good, and like I like, I'd recommend everyone like watch it in order, because I've seen it all before. Like hopping in on like random arcs is hopping in on random stories is okay, and it's brilliant. Like my favorite one is the second story from season 2. It's just truly brilliant television. It contains some of my favorite moments, and like, it's not like, your fucking US police shows, NCIS and its 13 derivations and fucking Law and Order and shit. These are intelligent, well written, well thought out, decent, like high production, I'd say, for a BBC thing anyway. These are such good shows, and like the psychology behind the killers and like the reasonings and the characters are believable. I think the only weak points for me personally are like the overarching stories that they like that follow through the season. They tend to hinder it a bit, but like Luther really is brilliant, and like it's got balls in what it does with characters and the way it presents some stuff, and like it's a show I'd recommend to anyone. I mean, not anyone, because I think the crime and like a lot of people like crime, but I think the way it's presented, it's very blunt and very in your face. So I think some people might not get behind that. So I think but yeah, no, Luther's really brilliant, and like Idris Elba, like that role was made for him. Like he's so good with that.
That's awesome. I was gonna ask if it's a BBC show, but you answered that.
It's BBC. Yeah.
I rewatched because The Falcon and the Winter Soldier started last night, and I felt like I needed to do some research. So I rewatched Captain America Civil War. I had not seen it since I saw it in the theater in 2016, and I never loved it. Like, I thought it was cool, but like I was like, I don't know, I never really connected. I thought it was an awesome movie, and every criticism I have of it now is every criticism is like has the counter of, but it's fine because the thing is awesome anyway. Perfect example of that is Spider-Man being in the movie. It's like, there's no reason for Spider-Man to be in the movie. Like, story-wise, it's so obviously shoehorned in to just introduce Spider-Man. Like, Iron Man just needs someone else for his, like, to fit his arbitrary team numbers, so he goes and gets Spider-Man. It's like, makes no sense, but it's fine because Spider-Man's awesome in the movie, and Tom Holland's great. And the same with Ant-Man. Like, he's got no reason to be in the movie, but he's cool, so I don't care. But that specifically applies to, outside of that, to the plot and Zemo's scheme, which I didn't like the first time. I don't even know if I really got it. Watching it this time though, like if I get caught up in like the individual like intricacies of it, or like the individual moments of he I guess he could anticipate this, so then he'll do this at this moment, and then he's assuming that'll lead to this. Like if I get caught up in that, I get lost. It's a bit messy. But if I forget about that for a second, I think that's a valid criticism. But if I take a step back and I just look at what he's trying to achieve overall in terms of using Bucky to divide the Avengers, that's literally his plan. It's like, makes perfect sense. And it's a totally valid plan. And I felt his justification for it way more. Like the whole Sokovia thing, I felt way more this time. Like the first time, I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit about Age of Ultron. I don't care that they killed this city. I don't care. This time, though, it really worked. And huge shout out to Black Panther in this movie and Chadwick Boseman in this movie, because Black Panther, thought it was a fine movie. Black Panther in Avengers Endgame and stuff, fine. He's there. He's cool. Chadwick Boseman's cool, whatever. But him in Civil War, I forgot how awesome he is in that movie. And he's so many awesome character moments. He's a total badass. He doesn't take shit from anyone. He's like, dude, I'm getting revenge from my dad. Just piss off. And he doesn't give a shit about any of the Avengers, and he's just on his own path. It was an awesome character in the movie. And I totally forgot that. Like, I sort of forgot he was in the movie at all, and then he ended up being like one of my favorite parts of it. So yeah, man, Civil War was a great movie. I'm glad I rewatched it.
I never understood people's criticisms of Zemo's plan, and I always bought into it, and I always thought he was a great villain. And I understand people, maybe he was a bit underwhelmed because it was just human, I guess, and he wasn't anything special in that sense. But I always thought it was a great villain.
No, yeah, like I said, I liked him way more this time, and I especially liked that his whole thing was to get Captain America and Iron Man in the same room and play the Howard Stark tape. That was the whole thing. And he achieved that, and he did it, and he effectively succeeded in everything he achieved to do, because then he basically just walks off, leaves the building or whatever, and then has the conversation with T'Challa, and that's sort of it for him. And I thought that was really powerful, because he did exactly what he wanted to do. He didn't fail in any way. He wasn't defeated in any way. You know what I mean? It wasn't some weird climactic battle with him or whatever. He nailed his plan, but then it's the personal conversation and connection he has with T'Challa and vengeance that sort of ties that up really nicely. And then Cap and Iron Man are left to sort things out for themselves. And I compare that to, I like Batman v Superman, to be clear, but I compare that to the part, vague memories of it. I don't really remember it that much, to be honest, but the part, Lex's plan was always sort of weird to me in that movie. And that feels like my memory of what that is. And of course, my memory of it's affected by watching so much clips of it and hearing other people talk about it over the last 5 years. I've sort of distorted, I guess, in what I actually feel. But Lex's plan just sort of feels very cobbled together just to get them to fight, whereas Zemo feels authentic in that movie anyway. Anyways, Fitzy, are you available for us?
Yeah. Another round, which is English title.
My boy Mads.
Yeah. It's also called Druck. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but yeah, another round.
Druck.
Thomas Vinterberg, Danish film. Mads has been in 2 of his films, and same with, there's 3 or 4 of the same people in both films. But they're really good. If you like Mads, you should really check them out, because The Hunt definitely has Mads probably one of his best performances. And this is really great as well. It's more lighthearted, more fun. A bunch of guys trying to have a back level of 0.05, constant, and obviously that spirals out of control and things happen. So yeah, things happen. But
things happen.
Is 0.05 the standard international level for it, or do they vary nation to nation?
That's a great question.
It might be, because that's what they do. But I saw this movie in Nova in Melbourne, and the crowd was really into it. There was a lot of laughing going on, so it was really good.
You're at an indie cinema, of course they're going to be into it.
Yeah, but I mean, the people there were very they seemed normal. They seemed like just middle-aged guys, and I don't know. But
no, I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah, it's really funny movie, and I mean, it's dramatic as well. It definitely doesn't land the dramatic parts as well, especially with one choice in the ending that I really didn't like. But no, check it out. It's really funny and it's a good time.
As always, now we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you what is your favourite ongoing television program, and we got 2 non-answers. So I'm hurt by this. All right, these are garbage answers. Garbage.
I never know what they are. I love it.
I'm such a terrible person. Luke wrote in and said, all of my favourite TV shows are no longer running. If only there was a 4-season pirate-based TV show available on Stan. Oh well, I'll just keep searching. If only, Luke. Andy says, favourite TV show? Family Guy. This is proof that I don't really engage with TV shows at all, to be honest, but I have been watching Breaking Bad this year. And you've redeemed yourself. It's fine. I don't give a shit if you never watch another TV show in your life. No, actually, I do. I want you to watch Black Sails as well. But Breaking Bad, it's fine. You're good. You're very, very good in that sense. So yeah, dude, I don't know much about modern Family Guy. I don't really know anything about Family Guy to be that at all. Honestly, I've probably seen a total of 5 hours of it in my life. So like, I understand the characters and the dynamics, but I don't really. It is still going, I guess. It's not like a Futurama situation where that is finished. Apparently, I didn't even know that till recently.
I don't really like Family Guy.
No?
No. I just don't like the comedy. I don't know.
Are you more of a Simpsons person, or are you just not even into that either?
No, I like The Simpsons. Simpsons.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, Simpsons is more like universally loved, I guess. Like, there's Family Guy and there's like American Dad, and
yeah,
I don't like those shows.
I always appreciated Family Guy for the it's very specific type, part of its sense of humor is when it like cuts away to things. You know, like a character will say something and then they show it for like an extremely long period of time. That's I enjoy that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very specific element of their show that I've never seen anywhere else. Thank you guys very much for writing in. I'm sorry if I was a bit mean at the start. We always appreciate you writing in. What are our favourite ongoing TV shows, Fitzy? What's yours?
Succession, probably. Well, yeah, I think it's ongoing. Yeah, season 2. It's coming, I think. Yeah, it's just a really exciting, constantly exciting show. It's really witty. It's got a lot of great characters and performances.
That's all you want from a TV show, right?
Hmm.
I have to think about this a little bit. You know, Mando's an obvious choice, but that's like a cheat answer, you know. And we're gonna be waiting like a generation for the next season anyway. So, Better Call Saul's right up there, man. Love that show. What a great show! Holy shit! Just constantly subverts your expectations and doesn't play with any formulas and is really clever. And it's just in the Breaking Bad universe. I can't get enough of that universe and just getting immersed in Albuquerque. You know, pretty sick.
What state's Albuquerque in?
New Mexico.
Yeah,
it's like that's why I like it. It's a really cool, unique setting because at times it feels like a western sort of, but it's like obviously it's like this interesting contrast of like Albuquerque is very much a city, you know what I mean? But there's often they go out to the desert often too. It's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems I don't really know the status of like a lot of the shows I watch. I think because I don't consume too much, and most of what I do, I think like seems like limited series or like they've already finished. You know, Ripped Mindhunter.
Oh yeah, please.
But like you know, in that same vein, Line of Duty is very high up there. I think season 6, I think, might be coming out this year. I don't really know what the status of it is, but Line of Duty is truly fantastic. It's better than Luther, I'll say that. It's the best police. Okay. It's the best police procedural I've ever seen. Better than Mindhunter in that sense. Like, dude, I can't with Mindhunter fucking versus like these UK ones because I mean like they're so good. But like Line of Duty is truly brilliant. Like it's written by Jed Mercurio, who also did Bodyguard, which I know you've seen.
Yeah, Bodyguard's cool.
And Bodyguard, yeah, great. But yeah, like it's Line of Duty. So it's so intelligently written, and it's all the things that Luther is, but just better, you know. But it doesn't deal with so Line of Duty is about AC-12, which is anti-corruption, so it's examining other police officers, so it doesn't examine, you know, just random murderers. it actually takes in-depth dives into these other people that may or may not be corrupt and how they work and why it's a unique view taking, this, from this kind of like from that perspective, and yeah, it's just true brilliance, like really, really fantastic.
Better than Luther, okay. I know you talk about both, but I feel like the one I'm watching first has been decided.
Luther?
Right here.
Or Line of Duty?
No, Line of Duty, you said it's better.
Well, Line of Duty is on Netflix, I think 5 seasons of it, and Luther's on Stan, 5 seasons of it, so.
Okay. That's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Fitzy, what are we watching next week?
We're doing the Bourne Ultimatum, boys. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited too. I'm genuinely stoked for this.
I have high expectations, yes.
I do too. How many shots are we going to get of Matt Damon, like, look outside and everyone turns? How many times is that going to happen?
At least 10, otherwise not.
It better be, yeah, totally.
But yeah, last one in the original trilogy, I guess you can call it. Third one in the franchise of 5, so looking forward to it. It's on everything, so.
It is on everything. This is the most accessible franchise we've done by far, I think, so check them out, man. What's the ultimatum going to be, you know what I mean? It's a cool name. It gets you thinking.
Yeah.
What's Jason Bourne's journey going to be?
I have no idea what's going to happen in those movies, so,
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Check out all our social media links in the YouTube description, like we mentioned at the start. But we're well and truly at the end here. We appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining me as always. Love talking to you. Have a great rest of your week, everyone, and goodbye.